Hello, I'm Jebakripa Rosling. I welcome you all to yet another video of my channel. Today video is from the subject Principles of Insurance. This is the subject currently I'm handling for integrated MBA students. I'm planning to bring every single class as a video to you. Hope it will be helpful for the students to revise what they have learned in the class, and it will also be helpful for anyone who is interested in gaining basic knowledge about insurance industry. This is the class 1 of the subject, right? Let us get into the class. Content for today. So I have planned today content in three phases. First, I'm going to tell about the subject. Next, overview of the unit, and I'm also planning to give introduction to insurance. About the subject. Insurance industry is one of the important industry which plays a major role in the social, economical and financial growth of any nation. Starting from the basic life insurance and marine insurance, the business of insurance has diversified into different aspects of life. It has grown so extensively that studying entirely about the insurance is a difficult task. But in the subject, we are going to focus things related to the principles of insurance. And by studying the subject, one can gain knowledge about insurance. Okay, so insurance, as I told, it is a vast area. By studying the subject, you can understand the basic concepts and things related to the insurance, and to understand the nature of insurance business. Apart from insurance, as we all know, as something which helps us the time of calamity, it is a business in nature. How does this business operate? That also you can understand by learning this subject. Next, to understand the legal aspect related to insurance. As insurance is something related to money and it is a contract between two parties, there are so many legal bindings involved in it. We'll also be studying the legal aspect of insurance. Next, overview of the units. So we have already have an idea about what we are going to study in this subject, right? And as like any other subject in Anna University, the subject has been classified into 5 different units. So as the basis of syllabus, I'm going to tell you that what you're going to see in different units. Unit 1, the concept of insurance and its evaluation and scope of insurance. So this is the basic unit in this subject where you will be seeing what is insurance, how this concept of insurance came into existence, what is the history of insurance, and what are the various concepts and terms related to insurance. So all that you will be studying in unit 1. Then unit 2, different types of insurance. So we all know that there are various types of insurance. Generally, the insurance type is broadly classified as life insurance and non-life insurance. Non-life insurance, you call it as a general insurance, right? So now we'll be seeing the various other classifications under that, and with the various other implication, the variation between the different types, everything we'll be seeing in the unit 2. Then unit 3, the business of insurance. As I told earlier, insurance by nature it is a business. So how insurance operate as a business, how it generate income by doing this social service to the nation and the society. Then fourth unit, the insurance contract. I have also told you earlier, insurance involve two parties. One is the one who is taking the insurance, the other is the one who is giving the insurance. And you have a contract between the two parties, that is what we call it as insurance policy. Now, what is the content of the contract and what is the implication of the contract and what is the variation in the different types of insurance? All that will be studying in unit 4. And finally, in Unit 5, you will be studying dispute resolution mechanism. When you take any business or when you take any contract, definitely there is a chance for dispute or different of opinion. So when such dispute or different of opinion arises, so what are the mechanism derived by the insurance authority bodies or the government to resolve such disputes? That is what we'll be studying in Unit 5. So this is what we are going to touch in the entire subject. Introduction to insurance. As I told you already, I am planning to give a little introduction to the subject. So in today's class, in the introduction, we are going to see why insurance came into existence, definition of insurance, assurance and insurance, nature of insurance, and finally terms used in insurance. Let us see one by one. Why insurance came into existence. So this is not evaluation of insurance or history of insurance. Here I'm trying to explain, do we really need insurance, right? So why this concept of insurance came into practice. So generally in our daily life, I know a lot of events are happening. Some events happen as per we plan, but there are events which happens beyond our planning or which are unpredictable by us, right? No one knows that. We know that our life has danger, right? If you are traveling in a road, we know that we may face an accident, right? But we are not sure that what moment where we are going to face the accident. We may not also face an accident. So events are unpredictable, particularly the misfortune event like this is totally unpredictable. So when such unpredictable event happens, often a cause of economic loss and grief. So definitely when we face an unpredictable event, suppose an accident is happening for someone, right? Okay, four people are traveling in it. Suppose one person has passed out. Okay, we have a loss, okay, of one life. Okay, but and again we also have some financial losses and economic losses. Suppose in if in the traveling four-person, the person who have died is the breadwinner of the family, then it is going to give a great level of economic and financial losses to the person. So other losses cannot be compensated, but wherein economical, I mean financial losses can be compensated by doing something, by doing by getting a support from others. So if one person is facing a difficulty, people around them when support that particular person to come out of the difficulty. That is what a community can come to the aid of individual who are affected by such events. Okay, so helping one person lost by a single person is quite difficult, but when many people join together to help the loss of another person, okay, the financial losses and economical losses can be overcome having a system of sharing and mutual support. So this is a system of sharing and mutual support. There is a community. In that community, everyone has a chances of facing a particular event, so they have a mutual sharing of system, so that they feel that if anyone in this community is facing a problem, the others can come for mutual support to uplift the person. So this entire concept is was coined as insurance. This is how the need for insurance or insurance came into existence. Definition of insurance. So how can we define insurance? There are a lot of definition available for insurance. So here I am bringing the definition from the words of D.S. Hampson. Insurance is defined as a social device providing financial compensation for the effects of misfortune, the payment being made from accumulated contribution of all parties participating in the scheme. So to understand the definition, so I want to highlight few words in the definition. First, Insurance is a social device. What do you mean by a device? Device is an instrument invented for a particular purpose. We have mechanical device, we have electronic device. So just like that, insurance is a social device. So we all know that device helps is an instrument which helps for a particular purpose. Similarly, instrument is a social device which helps. What it helps, this social device, what is the job of the social device? By providing financial compensation. So the job of the social device is to provide financial compensation. What do you mean by a compensation? Compensation is something given to bring something back to action. Okay, so now this insurance as a device act as a providing social financial compensation for the effects of misfortune. What do you mean by misfortune? Misfortune is an unfortunate state resulting from unfavorable outcomes, right? So no, all the outcomes coming from every day-to-day activity may not be favorable to us. It may be unfavorable. So due to some unfavorable outcomes, we are put in a state of unfortunate state. That is the state where we don't like to be, right? So now we are getting into an unfortunate state, the effect of misfortune. So in that time, we are helpless. We need money. We are economically pulled back in our journey. In that case, we need a financial compensation, and this financial compensation, I know that is being provided by a social device called insurance. How do they provide? How the social device? How is this operating? Okay, there is a social device that gives me, okay, there is an electronic device that helps me to talk to a person in a distant place. But how does it happen? Similarly, there is a social device which helps me, which gives me financial compensation at the times of misfortune. How does it gives the financial compensation? That is what the payment being made from the accumulated contribution of all parties in the scheme. So this social device is paying me by getting the accumulated contribution. That is what the society, people who are probably expected to face the same difficulty, they form a society and they are participating in a scheme. They are participating in a scheme where they agree that, okay, we will contribute an amount, that is gathering amount little by little, so that if anyone in the society is facing any misfortune, we can compensate their financial losses through insurance. So that's all. Now if you read the definition, you can easily understand it is a social device providing financial compensation for the effects of misfortune, the payment being made from the accumulated contribution of all parties participating in the scheme, right? Assurance and insurance. Okay. What do you mean by assurance and insurance? We have already seen insurance, right? What does that mean? Assurance compared to insurance. So assurance, no, this term we use in insurance, but for a particular area. We use assurance only in those places where the things will happen for sure. Suppose if a man is born in this world, if a child is born in this world, the child is expected to grow little by little. It will grow as a boy, man, okay, then old man. Okay, we don't know. Okay, a child may live for 1 year, 10 year, 100 years. No one knows how long the child lives. But one thing is for sure: anyone who is born in the world is going to face death one day. That is the unwritten and unarguable thing. That is what happened for sure. So that's why whenever you take insurance to protect your life, okay, one day or other you're going to face the death. Okay, either at the tenure where you take the insurance or beyond the tenure. So something which happens for sure, and you are trying to protect yourself towards the effect of that particular event, then you say it as a assurance. In the other hand, what is insurance? It may or may not happen. right? Like a car accident. Okay, I take car insurance for my car. It doesn't mean that definitely my car is going to meet with an accident. It may or it may not met with an accident. So that cases you use the word insurance. Assurance is the word where you use definitely this will happen. One day or other, definitely this thing will happen. Then it is said to be assurance. Insurance is it may happen or may not happen. Next, nature of insurance. So, to get an in-depth knowledge about any concept, it is essential to study the nature, characteristics, or future. So, every or different names of studying things. So, what is the nature? If you take insurance as some concept, what does the nature is? It is all about. First, it is sharing of risk. Definitely, insurance is sharing your risk. Okay, so you have goods worth 10,000 in your godown, right? And you have a risk that it may get fire or it may be carried away by flood. But when you take an insurance, your risk is being shared by the insurance. So definitely, it has the characteristics of sharing the risk. Then it is a cooperative device. Yes, it is a cooperative device. There is no use of taking insurance if only one person is participating in the insurance scheme. So, insurance can be in existence only when many people cooperate in the social device. Many people, the more the people are into a particular insurance scheme, the less the risk is being shared. I mean, the risk is shared to a high level. So, it is a cooperative device where you need too many people involved in the process. Then value of risk. So insurance helps to evaluate your risk. Okay, if I face a losses, know what amount can put me back into the accident. So that is, it helps to value your risk. So based on that only you plan your insurance scheme. Payment on contingency. Yeah, is it payment on contingency? Definitely it is payment on contingency because that is what the concept is all about. So when I face any contingency, when I face lack of finance, the lack of economical support due to some misfortune, then insurance helps. I know insurance come to my aid to help me to come from the situation. Then amount of payment of claim. What is that amount of payment of claim connection with nature is? So whenever we take some insurance, it is one thing is for sure that suppose there is some 20 lakhs worth goods in my godown and a fire accident happens and 50,000 worth goods is being damaged means I can make a claim only for the worth of 50,000, not I cannot make a claim of entire 20 lakhs. Okay, that is what amount of payment of claim. Then insurance is different from charity. You all know that what is charity. Charity is, and we know people, we are in a good position and we think that some people are suffering from some financial losses or economic losses, so we join together and donate something for the upliftment of that people. That is what we call it as charity. But insurance is not like that. Here there is no people at upper level or lower level. Everyone is equal and the same. Every single person participating in the scheme is sooner or then have the chances of facing the misfortune. So everyone is equally having the probability of facing the misfortune. That's why they join together, cooperate together in a social device. So it is not like a charity where people having is donating to someone who is not having. It is people having same level of things joined together to help each other in the contingency. Large number of insured person. As I told you already, insurance, any particular scheme in insurance should be supported by more number of people. When the insurance is supported by more number of people, the chances of sharing the risk is, I know the risk is being diversified, the risk is being scattered. So when, for example, let me tell that, if 100 people are under an insurance scheme, it means that if anyone in the scheme is facing a losses, suppose the loss is 10,000, the loss has to be compensated equally by all the 99 people. Just an assumption, right? The system of operation is different, but when you have 10,000 people into the scheme, the loss will be, the sharing of the loss will be just like 1 rupee, right? So more the number of people, more safety. That means, the chances of sharing the risk is larger compared to less number of people. Then insurance is different from gambling, right? It is not a gambling. What do you mean by gambling? Gambling where you put some small money and you try your chance of luck to get a lumps of money. It is not like, putting something small and getting back. It is different. It is sharing equally to get benefited at or to get supported at the time of loss. So this is all about the nature of insurance. So next we are going to see terms used in insurance. So there are many terms, but I have bought here some 20 terms, so that when you get accustomed with these terms, it will be easy for you to understand many things related to insurance in the forthcoming classes or videos, right? Okay, let us see one by one. Insurance or insurance company. The agency involved in insurance business is known as insurer. So, insurer, who is a no, and we know that two parties are involved in the insurance. Okay, one is an individual person, the other is a company which is giving a insurance. The company which is giving a insurance, or the person who is giving the insurance, is said to be insurer, right? Next, insured or assured. Now, the second party in the insurance, the person who gets it property or life insured, is known as insured, right? So, two party, the first party which is giving you insurance is known as insurer, and we who are taking the insurance, who are being covered by the insurance, are said to be, either we call it as insured or assured. Insured in case of non-life things and assured in case of life. Policy. The agreement or contract which is put in writing is known as a policy. Okay, any agreement, I mean not any agreement, the agreement. Okay, insurance is an agreement between two people, the insured and the insurer, right? Now this agreement is put in this agreement is put in words, right? So this agreement is put in words or written as a contract or policy. This contract we refer here as policy or insurance policy. Premium. The consideration in return of which the insurer undertakes to make goods the loss or give a certain amount in case of life insurance is known as a premium. Okay, in case of a life insurance, okay, we need money, we are paid money at the time of no demise of the person who have take the insurance. And in case of non-life insurance, when the particular thing for which we take insurance is getting damaged, we get money. How do we get money? What does we give back, and what does we give in consideration? We are paying a money regularly with the consideration that if and all I face any problem, I have to be supported back with the money at a time of loss. So considering that only, you are paying money regularly. So the consideration, the amount you pay regularly for making yourself protected at the time of unexpected financial losses is what we call it as consideration, is what we call it as premium. That consideration amount is what we call it as premium. Indemnity, a sum of money paid in compensation for loss or injury. Earlier, I explained you that amount of claim of money when I'm explaining the nature of insurance. I told you that no, whenever you face any losses, the damage, the claim can be done only to the proportion of the value of damage, right? So if you have even 20 lakhs of good and the damage is only for 50,000, you can make a claim only for 50,000. Now that 50,000, okay, which is paid at the time of damage is what we call it as indemnity. Agent. A licensed person or organization authorized to sell insurance by or on behalf of insurance company. So we all know that agents is a third party. Third party means generally an agreement or insurance policy have two parties. One is the person who is taking the insurance, that is insured, and the other is the person who is giving the insurance, that is the insurer, right? When this two party is there in the agreement, if somebody is entering into the middle, okay, they are said to be a third party. Agent is a third party, but he is a licensed person, okay, or an organization. He may be a licensed person or an organization. What license? He has the authority to sell insurance on behalf of a insurance company. Okay, so this third party, a third party who sells the insurance on behalf of the insurance company, on behalf of the insurer, then he is said to be an agent. Broker. So broker is also a third party. So earlier we see agent as a third party. Agent who is acting on behalf of the insurer, who is acting on behalf of the company, right? Licensed to act. But broker is a person who, a licensed person or organization paid by you to look for insurance on your behalf, right? So now this third party is someone who is dealing with the insurance on behalf of us, on behalf of the insured. Then he is said to be a broker. So, okay, we have two types of third parties. One is an agent who is operating on, who can authorize to operate on behalf of the company, right? The other type of third party is broker who is authorized to act on behalf of the person who has taken insurance, okay? Policy holder. The policy holder is the one who proposes the purchase of life insurance policy and pays the premium. The policy holder is the term related to life insurance policy, and here we mentioned that person who purchased the life insurance and pays the premium for the life insurance. I'll explain you clearly. Suppose if there is a family of 4 people, a father, mother and 2 children, and a father is only earning in the family, then he is said to be the breadwinner of the family, right? So now the insurance will generally will be taken in the name of the father. Why it is taken in the name of the father? Because the father is the person who is providing income to the family. If and all, if anything happens to the father, the family will not have any source of income. So that only the father plans to take a life insurance, purchases a life insurance and pays regularly, so that if and all anything happened to him, his family will be supported by this insurance scheme. So now the father on whose name the insurance is taken and who is paying the insurance policy is said to be the policy holder. Life assured. Life assured is the one for whom the life insurance plan is purchased to cover the risk of untimely death. So let us get back to the previous example to understand life assured. So now in the family of 4, the insurance is taken in the name of the father because he is the breadwinner of the family and he is the source of income for the family. So if and all anything happened to him, the other 3 members in the family has to be supported by the insurance. Now, the other 3 members in the family life is assured by the insurance because the father has taken an insurance policy. Okay, they are not left. If any untimely death has happened, they are not left alone. At least they can get financial compensation by the insurance policy taken by the father. Now, all the other three members in the family are said to be life assured because their life is assured by the policy taken by the breadwinner of the family. Sum assured. Sum assured is the term used for an amount that the insurer agrees to pay on death of the insured person or occurrence of any other insured event. So generally in an insurance scheme, the insured person will pay the premium regularly, right? So why he is paying the premium regularly? He is paying the premium regularly with the expectation that if and all, two chances, that is in case of non-life insurance, if any damage causes, I will get compensation from this scheme. In case of life insurance, if anything happens to me, my my no, my family members will be supported by the amount. Okay. Now this claim, the compensation they receive is what we call it as sum assured. So if I pay this amount 10,000, if I pay some 1,000 rupees every month, what is the sum assured I will be getting at the time of misfortune? So the sum assured is the amount a family will entitled to receive at the time of misfortune, or a person will receive at the time of any damage to the property in which they take insurance. Nominee. So earlier we have seen life assured, right? Now the nominee is a term related to it. The nominee is the person, maybe the legal hire, nominated by the policyholder to whom the sum assured and other benefits will be paid by the life insurance company in case of an unfortunate eventuality. This nominee, in the sense, right, suppose, their family, we'll get back to the same example. A family has four members. The father is the policy holder and all the other three members in the family are life assured. But even all the three members in the family are life assured, the policy holder can pick one person as a first nominee, right? Might be the mother. Okay, in case anything happened to me, the mother or the wife of the policy holder is liable to get the amount. He is legally authorized to get the amount. That is what legal hire. Okay, so in cases it is not essentially to be a mother, sometimes no, if they have grown up children, they may keep one of the children as nominee. Okay, so suppose no, they have no, they have mentioned as no, the mother as the nominee, but the mother has also an accident has occurred, the mother is also expired, means they will be asking for the second and third nominee also. So nominee is the person who has the legal authority to claim the amount. Policy tenure. The policy tenure is the duration for which the policy provide life insurance coverage. So this policy tenure is generally related to life insurance, where you take a policy, you can take a 5-year policy tenure, 10-year policy tenure, or whole life policy tenure. So this policy tenure will give you a detail that how long this policy is capable of giving a coverage to the family. Maturity age. Age is the age of the life assured at which the policy ends or terminates, right? So what is the concept behind the life insurance is, suppose the breadwinner of the family is getting expired. Now the other three members doesn't have any sources of income, so they have to be supported financially to take care of their needs, right? But it doesn't mean that suppose when the person is dying, the children's may be very small at the age of 12 or 10. It doesn't mean that the life insurance coverage is going to provide the money from the policy taken by their father until their death. Okay, there is a maturity age. Okay, here the maturity age mentioned, the maturity age of life assured. Okay, to what age of the life assured does the policy will support? Okay, maybe to the 20 years or 21 years. So that will be mentioned in the policy. So only till this age, the policy is going to support the life assured. Death benefit. The death benefit is what life insurance company pays to nominee in case of life assured dies during the policy tenure. So at the time we already see what is policy tenure, when the time period until which the policy is liable to cover the uh, financial losses, right? Now the amount, if a person, okay, if for example if it is a 10 years is the tenure of the policy, so meanwhile the person expires, okay, they will be getting an amount from the policy. That is what death benefit. So what is the difference between death benefit and sum assured is, so sum assured is the amount you get at the end of the policy. Okay, a sum assured, death benefit is also a sum assured. Sum assured means either even if the event has happened or it doesn't happen, you get a sum assured, right? So that is what we call it a sum assured. But sometimes if the event occurs, you may get an additional coverage. That is what we call it as death benefit. Rider. Riders are an additional paid-up feature to widen up the scope of the base life insurance policy. There are various life insurance policy, but no, sometimes the available, I mean, the ready-made life insurance policy, is not up to our expectation. That is, something is lacking in the policy. Maybe you feel that you need a extended 2 years of coverage, or you need something coverage for, there may be an exclusion, and you feel that that can also be covered in the policy. So in that case you can pay something additional to avail the facility. The okay, so rider, that additional facility you avail is what we call it as rider. So okay, suppose when for example when you buy a car, okay, the car will come with the basic facilities and things. But in case if you want to have an additional stereo system or something additional that is not provided generally, you pay additional to get that facility, right? So similarly in insurance policy, apart from things offered in the basic insurance policy, you want to get something additional to be covered up, you pay excess to get that thing additionally. So that is what we call it as rider. Free look period. Pre-look period is the time frame during which one may choose to return the purchase policy. So generally, suppose we purchase something and feel that, okay, it is not good for me, it is not fitting for me, then what do you think? You plan of returning that. But you cannot return it whenever you can think. There is a duration, right? Okay, within 10 days, it varies from place to day. Within 10 days or 1 week, you have to return that, right? So similarly, when you purchase an insurance policy, after everything is completed, you feel that, okay, this is not going to work for me. I'm not satisfied with the insurance policy. I want to return it. Means you cannot return as and when you feel. You can return it only within the specified period. That is, period is what we call it as free look period, right? So when you return the insurance policy within the pre-look period, the policy will be returned, but they will deduct the service charges and other charges involved for them, and they'll give you the money. Grace period. Grace period, if the insured couldn't pay the renewal premium for the policy on time, life insurance company gives an extension in the number of days after the premium payment due date is called grace period. Okay, so we have a consideration that we will pay amount regularly, might be monthly or yearly. So only when we pay the amount regularly, that is, we are renewing our policy and we are making the policy in existence. Suppose if we are not able to pay the premium at the specified date, before the specified date, okay, now no, we can get a grace period. Okay, it will be coming around to 10 to 15 days in case of monthly payment and 1 month in case of yearly payment. So within that, if you pay, okay, with some charges, or your policy will not get expired. So this grace period given to make the premium after the premium due date is called grace period. Surrender value. What is surrender value? It is if the policy holders decide to discontinue the plan before the maturity age, the life insurance company pays an amount to the policy holder. This is called surrender value. Okay, so suppose the insurance is policy coverage is around 5 lakh, right? And I agree to pay 5 lakhs and it is for 10 years, and I agree to pay some 2000 or 3000 every month. But in meanwhile, no, I don't want to continue the policy and I want to surrender the policy. Then, no, let us assume that I have so far paid 2 lakhs, means I won't get the entire 2 lakhs back even if I surrendered. If I surrendered, there will be some calculations and deduction. After that only I will receive a value, return value. Okay, after deducting all that things, I will get a return value. That value is called surrender value. Revival period. So earlier I told you about grace period. What is grace period? If you are not able to pay a premium within the specified date, you have a grace period where you can pay the premium with some charges to bring it back into action. Suppose if the grace period is also gone, now the policy is lapsed, policy is dead, the policy is not an action. Okay, grace period is like the period where the policy is under an ICU, right? Now this period, revival period, now the policy is dead, but even then there is they give a revival period. Within that, if you want to revive with the charges, you can revive back your policy. Okay, that is for a short duration. But if you go back after the duration, you cannot revive your policy. You have to surrender and get back the surrender value. Next, exclusions. So exclusions, things which are not covered under particular insurance policy. Okay, when you buy exclusion, so normally, when you buy any product, we can see in the product that conditions apply. Suppose, if you are buying any vehicle, they will say 80 kilometer per liter something, and they will put a star and say condition apply. Suppose if your vehicle is not giving 80 kilometer per liter, they will say that no, that is under the smooth road conditions, but this cannot be applicable to a tough roads, right? So likewise, you have to be very careful. Every insurance policy will have an exclusion that will clearly tell that, okay, accident happened like this will not be covered under insurance policy, or death occurred by these reasons will not be covering under the insurance policy. Something will be written in the exclusion, so which will not be covered by the insurance policy. So you have to clearly read the exclusions before you make the insurance policy. Okay, thank you. Uh, I have completed the classes, and I have videos in other playlists like management accounting and operation management. Okay, you can also check those videos. If you like my teaching, you can always subscribe and like my channel. Thank you.